Hello, you are with me, the voice of ability for persons with disability. United Nations statistics estimate that over 600 million people live with disability globally, and over 400 million people live with disability in Africa. 40% of Africa's population are made up of people living with disability. 10 to 15% of school-age children in Africa live with disability. Ghana's population is over 32 million, and 8% are people living with disability. How does this impact on persons with disability in terms of policy formulation, marriage and family life, education, healthcare, employment, and so on? For those of us in the disability community, discrimination and stigmatization is the root cause of almost every challenge we face. However, success only comes to those who know how to overcome their challenges and not those who know how to avoid challenges. So join me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability, as I navigate my way through the riveting stories, the unbelievable experiences, and the life-transforming journeys of persons with disability on the Helping Hand TV show.
To the best father ever, Bishop Dr. Charles C. Hackman. What a great wonder. We love you forever. Happy birthday to you. You're a good father. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you and keep you. God bless you. We celebrate you. Today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Bishop Charles Hackman, from me, Farid, and this is a special birthday poetry for you. You walk where warriors crawl. You stand tall where giants are dwarfed. You even fight through flames and weather life storms just to ease our pains and provide us comfort. That's why you remain our favorite of all, Bishop Charles Hackman, a true man of God. Like rain you pour to sow in our lives these seas of empathy, confidence, and joy. You are a man of vision, a man whose helping hand touches lives with sublime precision. Today we honor you, Bishop Charles Hackman, not just for the good you have done, but for the greatness that is yet to come. To you, Bishop Hackman, generosity is not an option but a calling, a selflessness you deliver with godly precision. Multi-talented and extremely gifted though you are, the beauty of your simplicity dazzles like a Leonardo da Vinci work of art. Happy birthday, Bishop Charles Hackman, and may your new age flourish like a fountain of eternal grace. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of the Helping Hand TV show, where we seek to throw the spotlight on the abilities of persons with disability. H4P is 12 years old, and like I say, you're welcome to my world where disability is not inability. Special thanks to all of you that tune in. Special thanks to FCC and DV Unlimited Company Limited, my proud sponsors. Today, I have a very, very interesting episode for you. I'm going to go on a break. When I come back, I'll introduce you to my guest, an amazing guest. I know you would like my guest. Just stay tuned in. I'll go for a break. I'll be right back. It's the Helping Hand TV show.
We'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are with me, the voice of ability on air for persons with disability. And today I want to introduce you to someone with so much ability. Some people call her the greatest friend. Others call her the sweet companion. And others still call her the faithful worker. She is dependable, reliable, and adorable. And she's committed to lending you a helping hand anytime, anywhere. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome DV Cleaners.
DV Cleaners Alata Samana Shower Gels, DV Cleaners Aloe Vera Shower Gels, DV Cleaners Body Lotions, DV Cleaners hair shampoos, DV Cleaners hair conditioners, DV Cleaners liquid detergents, DV Cleaners hand wash, DV Cleaners floor cleaners, DV Cleaners toilet cleaners, DV Cleaners cake soaps, and now introducing DV Cleaners hand sanitizers. For bulk purchase, call us on +233 278 308 246 or +233 244 467 326. DV Cleaners, one of the top most made in Ghana products. DV Cleaners, proudly Ghanaian.
And so remember that anytime you purchase any of the DV Cleaners range of products, you are lending a helping hand to a person with disability, and you are supporting H4P Organization's special advocacy for persons with disability. DV Cleaners!
Nature's finest touch!
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to the Helping Hand TV show with me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability. This is the new season, an all-new season of the Helping Hand TV show. I have a very, very special guest for today, coming all the way from Zambia. My guest is called Namatama Lubinda. I hope I got it right.
Yes, you did.
Great, great. Yeah, welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
Today we are going to talk mental health. Before we begin, in your own terms, how can you let the ordinary person understand what mental health is all about?
Okay, mental health basically has three components. So mental health refers to psychological, emotional, and social well-being of a person.
Okay. So can you take them one after the other and explain it for us?
Okay, so the psychological well-being refers to the way an individual processes information, processes experiences, the way an individual thinks, the intellect of that individual, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then with the emotional well-being, this talks about the way a person feels. So everything to do with emotions. And then when it comes to the social aspect, this has to do with the way a person behaves and the way a person relates with others.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about your story, but I want to begin by applauding you, congratulating you, because I have some incredible achievements in front of me that you have achieved, and you organized Zambia's first mental health march past. That was incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But how did you pull it off? How were you able to do that?
Well, what made it possible was collaboration.
Okay.
So I collaborated with Duncan Nkoma, who happens to be one of the leading mental health advocates in Zambia. So Duncan and I mobilized people from various students because those are the ones that are easier to mobilize.
Okay.
And also we worked hand in hand with some other mental health organizations and organizations that are not necessarily mental health organizations, but just organizations that deal with humanity in general.
Okay.
And that's how we managed to pull it off.
Well, another big congratulations to you for organizing the first open mental health conference in Zambia. Incredible. I like the fact that it's the first time. Congratulations again. With this particular conference, what was the focus?
So the focus of the conference was to get mental health advocates and mental health activists in one place, because before having the conference, we actually started a community called the Mental Health Community Zambia, where we gathered about 900 members within the first month.
Wow.
So those members are mental health advocates, mental health activists, mental health professionals, and also mental health enthusiasts. So basically the conference was aimed at having a registering all those members of the mental health community, and also to get the views of the people that have been advocating for mental health, to see what programs they have they have had in the past and also the challenges that they have faced. One of the other motives for that conference was in order to also show the government and the public that there are people who are interested and doing things to change the state of mental health in the country.
Wonderful, wonderful. The third thing I have here to congratulate you about, you actually mentioned it, founding the mental health community in Zambia. Congratulations, about 900 people you brought together.
Yes, thank you.
That is amazing. Let's begin. Namatama. Why is mental health so important? Why is it so important?
Well, mental health is important because there is no health without mental health. The statistics say that 1 in 4 people, some statistics say that 1 in 5 people, which is 20 to 25% of people experiences a mental health disorder at some point in their lives. But the reality is that all of us experience mental health issues at one point or another due to inevitable circumstances such as the loss of a loved one, grief, and all sorts of things. So mental health is important because it's something that affects all of us, and mental health does have an effect on other aspects of life. Mental health has an effect on physical health as well. And without a right state of mental health, one cannot live a fully productive life.
I want us to really clarify that, because for a lot of people, when you hear mental health, it has negative connotations. But I want us to clarify that the fact that we are talking about mental health does not connote something negative. It's actually a positive thing that we all need to look at. What do you have to say in that regard?
Truly, there are many misconceptions around mental health. Anytime that somebody mentions mental health, the thing that goes in people's minds or the responses that we get are automatically severe mental illness such as schizophrenia. But when we talk about mental health, it's literally the right state of the mind, which every human being deserves to have. Mental health is something that concerns each and every one of us.
Well, I'm going to go for a break, but when I come back, I'm going to ask my guest why her choice to fight for mental health advocacy. Why this particular field? I would ask my guest. She's not going anywhere. She'll be right here with us. It's a Helping Hand TV show. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Success is a product of hard and wise work. Here's 60-second success with the Bishop. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to 60-second success with the Bishop. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of taking risks, calculated risks. Life is a journey, my friend, a journey that is full of risks. And you have to decide to take calculated risks, because it is those who have the audacity to face their fears and take risks who become successful. Life is not always smooth. Life oftentimes is a curved path of turbulence, and it demands a lot of diligence so that it can lead to a life of success. Successful people know that in the journey of life, there are times of rain and there are times of sunshine. It is ordinary people who rest because of the rains, but successful people work and they take risks because of the rains. Great success only comes to those who are bold enough to take great calculated risks. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to the Helping Hand TV show. Today we are talking mental health, and my guest is coming all the way from Zambia. My very, very special guest is Namatama Lubinda. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You are a mental health activist. You are a psychosocial counselor. You are passionate about spreading mental health awareness. and you are dedicated to helping people with their mental health issues. The question is this: why mental health?
Mental health, my inspiration for becoming a mental health activist was my personal experience with mental illness.
Okay.
I am currently, yes, I'm currently living with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder, and I have a history of a psychotic disorder, psychotic depression. So during the time that I was really struggling with my mental health, I was faced with a lot of stigma. I did not have easy access to mental health services, and I felt very misunderstood. So I saw that there were things that needed to change. And so I decided to be the voice for the people who were like me. Because eventually I got help, but then I thought of the person in the village or in the compound who does not have access to mental health care. And so I decided to bring light to the topic of mental health.
Good. Let's talk about your experience. Because I'm thinking, if somebody's watching us, how would they know the triggers of their mental health condition? How would they know what would cause it, and how do they go about it? So share your experience with us. What happened, and how did it all start?
So when it comes to mental health, it's quite complicated when we are looking for the causes of mental illness, because there's the biopsychosocial model. So there are the biological factors, the psychological factors, and the social factors.
Yeah.
So in my case, I can say it was a combination of things which till now are not fully understood, neither by me nor the people that attended to me.
Okay.
So in my experience, it started with depression, mild depression, which went untreated, and then it went into severe depression and anxiety, as well as post-traumatic stress disorder from some of the experiences that I had. And then eventually, I started to hear voices. And so the depression developed into psychotic depression.
Okay.
I knew from the beginning, from the time that the depression was getting severe, that I had a problem, because I believe that every individual knows their normal state of mind.
Yeah.
But for me, I was feeling different. I just had that general feeling that something was wrong with me. I lost my motivation for everything. I had very little energy. I had mood swings. And by the time it got to severe mental illness, I had started hearing voices and having memory lapses, and I would do things and not know that I'm doing those things. So I would only be told later that I did those things. And most of all, I became suicidal and I started attempting suicide. And so I knew for a fact that I wasn't okay.
So, is it possible that pressure from home, pressure from school, pressure from work can trigger mental health issues?
Yes, definitely, because the pressure may lead to stress, and stress is one of the causes for depression. And with the sequence that I have outlined that happened to me, with it starting from depression and going into psychotic depression, it's a very common occurrence that stress can actually lead to bigger mental health issues. The thing with mental health issues is that when one is not treated, the others develop.
Yeah. So let's go to the Zambian situation. Since you started your advocacy, what have you learned about the Zambian situation as it relates to mental health?
With the Zambian situation, one of the things that I have learned is that there is a need for education.
Okay.
A lot of the stigma comes from ignorance. When we go to places, not only in the places where there are high levels of illiteracy, even in the places where people are literate, there is very little knowledge on mental health. Even educated people have their misconceptions about mental health. So I have learned that there is need for education. But on the upside, people are willing to learn and they are willing to listen.
I'm sure based on your advocacy, you have heard stories or you have related with people who have had very tragic outcomes because of mental health. I want you to share some of those stories with us and give us a feel of why mental health, this discussion is so important.
Some of the stories that I have heard are from people mostly in the compounds, because neurodivergence is not understood. So you will find that in a place where there is a child with autism spectrum disorder, this child will be locked up in a room and isolated for years, and as a result of that, the condition gets worse. And it's a usual occurrence actually for people with severe mental illness such as schizophrenia to be beaten up on the streets, and with people with dementia, because this is, yes, with people with dementia, because this is an illness that is related to old age. The misconceptions around people with dementia is that they are witches. And so the normal thing, or what happens often, is that if an elderly person with dementia is found on the street or somewhere where they are not supposed to be, they are usually burnt to death.
Wow.
And that's something that really needs to be dealt with. Yes.
Incredible. I can't even think about it. So then it means we, apart from the education, we have to actually protect people who have mental health conditions.
Yes, we do. And the unfortunate part is that a lot of the stigma comes from law enforcement officers. The police officers do not have any knowledge about mental health. It's rare for us to actually find police officers who have knowledge on mental health conditions, because usually they will be in the forefront of castigating the person with mental illness.
If mental health is that important, if we have to protect people that have mental health conditions, what are some of the remedies? First of all, let me find out, can mental health be cured? Is it something that can be cured?
Many mental illnesses are treatable, but not all of them are curable.
Okay.
For example, severe schizophrenia is not curable, but it can be managed.
Okay.
So some of the most common interventions, or the acceptable interventions in Zambia right now, are medication. So if somebody has a psychotic disorder, they're put on antipsychotic. If somebody has a depressive disorder and the psychiatrist thinks that it can be helped or treated with antidepressants, they are put on antidepressants. And most people who are on medication for mental illness are put on that medication coupled with psychotherapy.
So let's talk about family support. I don't know how far family support can go to help mental health conditions.
A patient who has got family support, which is called, that's one of the protective factors. So a patient who has got family support actually has a better prognosis than one who does not have family support.
Wow, that's wonderful. It means that families have a lot of work to do. Let's do a bit of advocacy here. Can you speak to families that are watching us right now? What advice would you give to families that have somebody in their family that has some struggles with mental health issues?
To the families out there that may have family members who are struggling with their mental health, you need to understand, first of all, that mental illness is not a choice. The person is struggling. It's difficult enough to battle with the mental health issue, and what makes it worse is when people around you do not understand. So in as much as it's difficult to understand mental illness, it's important to be there for the people that need you to be there. Also, one thing that helps families a lot, is learning about the condition of their relative, because you need to get rid of the misunderstandings that you have and find out how you can help that person. And also, don't forget to also take care of your mental health, because taking care of a person with mental illness can be very mentally taxing. So you have to make sure that you also take care of your mental health so that you can take care of the other person's mental health well.
Thank you very much. I read your post on Facebook, and you outlined the difficulty, first of all, when you noticed your condition. You use the word like, you said you found yourself in a dark place. How did you mean by that?
What I meant by that, darkness, when someone's in the dark, they do not know where they are going, they do not know where the exit is. And when someone is in the dark, there is a feeling of being alone.
Okay.
So what I meant by that was the feeling of being lost, being alone, and feeling like I will never escape from that state.
Another important thing I noted in your post is that you said there were times you didn't want to even take your medications. You didn't feel like following the regimen. How did you handle that in the first place? If I have to take medication and I don't feel like taking it, and I don't have anybody supervising me, I might throw it away, and it will get my condition to be worse. How do you handle such things?
It took me a while to actually become consistent with my medication. Like you mentioned, some days I would take it and some days I would feel demotivated. And I can attribute part of my lack of interest in medication to the hopelessness that I felt, and also to my mental illness, because I was in a state where I couldn't take care of myself in other aspects, and in that state I wasn't thinking straight. So what helped me become consistent with my medication was psychotherapy, and also support that I had mostly from my friends. So my therapist got me to a state where he got me to understand that I needed the medication to become better. And the more we spoke, the more I became compliant with the medication.
Listening to you, an important thing comes up amongst other things. If somebody who is struggling with mental health is employed in a job and the employer doesn't understand the state of the person, it can create a lot of issues. Can you help us, like in a working environment, you have somebody that has mental health issues. How do you navigate your way around that?
First of all, it comes from demystifying the stigma that exists, because there's such a thing as institutional stigma. Some companies have policies that do not favor people with mental health issues. So there's a need to, first of all, educate the employer on various mental health issues. If possible, have a mental health professional do talks in that institution for the employer to understand. And secondly, there is a need for the person who has the mental health disorder to ensure that they are receiving adequate treatment, therapy, and making deliberate steps to actually function. Because living with mental illness can be debilitating at times, and some employers may feel like having somebody who is mentally ill in their company will be some kind of a loss. So it's very important for the patient to also take the necessary steps to ensure that they are functional to their highest level.
So for about 4 years, you've been doing this advocacy. In Zambia, do you have any laws that can be used to punish any employer that would refuse to employ somebody on the basis of their mental health? Because that's discrimination, right?
Yes, we do have the Mental Health Act of 2019. So one of the things that the Mental Health Act states is that a person living with mental illness should be protected against discrimination and stigma. So for as long as the person is aware of the Mental Health Act, they can use that to protect themselves.
So when such discrimination goes on, can the person who is the victim take it up in court? Does the law actually work, or is just in the statute books?
Well, from my experience and my observation, the law has been passed, but it's not necessarily implemented because, first of all, there is very little awareness on that law. It's actually on the activists to actually educate people about the law, but I don't think the government is doing enough to sensitize the general public about that law. We can see it with the example that I gave earlier about how the police officers are not aware of these things that they should be aware of, that's a sign that the law has not been implemented and sensitized.
Well, you are listening to Namatama Lubinda, my very special guest from Zambia. We are discussing a very, very important issue, mental health. I'll go for a quick break. When I come back, I'd ask my guest about a book. She has a book. We are going to discuss some of the things in the book and then educate all of us and then enlighten all of us more. It's a Helping Hand TV show. We'll be right back. We'll go for a quick commercial break. Stay tuned.
Is the music segment on the Helping Hand TV show.
How can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you, Lord. You're my everything. Yeah. How can I express my gratitude? Yeah. For all the many things you've done for me. Yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you, Lord. Lord, you're my everything. I call you Jireh, you're my provider. I call you Nisi, you are my banner. I call you Rapha, you are my healer. Yeah, yeah. Lord, you're my everything. Oh, you're not in your now. 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 Oh, yeah, me gwan kobia, my banding, ready, that's all. Oh, yeah, my home, baby, my life is in your hands, I can live without you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can breathe without you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can move without you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who am I without you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can live without you. Oh God, I can breathe without you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can move without you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who am I without you? Oh, you're my dingy now. 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 Bishop Dr. Charles C. Hackman. What a great wonder. We love you forever. Happy birthday to you. You're a good, good father. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you and keep you. God bless you. We celebrate you. Today.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to the Helping Hand TV show with me, the voice of ability owner for persons with disability. We are discussing mental health, and my guest is Namatama Lubinda. I like pronouncing your name. I hope I get it right all the time.
You're close enough.
Thank you so much. You have a book. Tell us the topic, because I think the topic of the book is interesting, and I like how you coined the words. Tell us the topic, and then why that particular topic, and what we have to learn from the book.
Okay, so this is the book. It's called How to Cope with. In Zambia, there is a crisis with addiction and substance abuse. And with my interaction with addicts, and also with my experience when I was battling with mental health issues, I used to use alcohol to cope. I realized that a lot of people who abuse these drugs and alcohol do not do it because they enjoy it, but they are trying to cope with things that they feel that they do not have a solution to. So when I quit alcohol, I decided to find healthy interventions for coping with my mental health, and I decided to move from not only surviving mentally to thriving, and some of those things helped me. So I decided to put the information out there to help the next person who may be battling with the things that I was battling with, or worse.
So how to cope without using dope? That's it, right?
Yes.
Tell us, give us some practical things, some hands-on things we can do so that we can really cope without dope, right?
Okay, so the book uses acronyms throughout, just to make it easier for the person to understand, for the reader to understand.
Okay.
So with healthy coping mechanisms, it's summarized into the word grapes.
Okay.
So there's a saying that I put in there that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but a few grapes a day keep the psychiatrist away. So the letters in grapes, yes. So the letters in grapes represent things that should be done every day to thrive mentally. So the G is for gentleness. So in gentleness, this talks about being gentle with oneself. And then the R is for relaxation. So we need to take time off to relax, spend time in nature in order to thrive mentally. And then the A is for accomplishments. Having accomplishments every day and taking note of our accomplishments and celebrating them actually has a very instantly gratifying feeling. And then the P is for pleasure. So I emphasize the necessity to actually do things that make us happy, because mental health can be equated to happiness, and happiness can be equated to mental health. And then the E is for exercise and physical activity, because when you exercise, you actually release neurotransmitters such as dopamine. So those neurotransmitters actually help us to stay happy. And then the S is for socializing, because it's very necessary to have a good social life. So in terms of socializing, I emphasize the necessity to spend time with people who make you feel good about yourself, people who build you, and so on and so forth.
Amazing. Definitely everybody must get a copy of this book. How can we get copies of the book?
So at the moment, it's only available in Zambia.
Oh no! Oh no! Really?
We are currently working on getting it on Amazon and other platforms. I would definitely communicate with you on that.
Great. Great. I'll be looking forward to that, because we really need to get this. You mentioned something about alcohol abuse. If it relates to mental health, how much of alcohol must be consumed and it is okay?
Well, maybe that question would be best answered by a medical professional, someone who's maybe in internal medicine. But from my perspective, I think an amount that does not bring any distress to the person's life, an amount of alcohol that does not affect the person negatively in terms of financially, socially, emotionally. I think a glass of wine for one person may be okay, but for the other person it may be too much. So I think it's also it depends on the individual.
You are a host of a Mind Matters podcast, and I'm sure you do a lot of mental health awareness raising. But I want to find out if somebody has gone through mental health conditions and has to be reintegrated into the society. What are some of the things we have to look out for, and how easy is it for the person to be reintegrated?
It's not very easy for the person to be reintegrated, mostly because of the stigma that surrounds mental health issues. But some of the things that help at least the individual to become part of society is the therapy and the counseling that they receive in the rehabilitation centers and the mental health hospital.
Thank you so much. Before I let you go, there's a segment of my show, I call it freestyle. Freestyle is where I allow my guests to sing, to dance, to recite a poem, to do anything. It's a freestyle segment. So my very good friend Namatama Lubinda, what would you do for me freestyle?
Okay, I actually like to write poetry, and I have a piece.
Great.
Yes. I have a piece that I wrote in 2020.
Good.
During the time that I was still battling with the severe mental illness and depression. So this piece is called Dancing in the Rain.
Wow.
It's a little bit dark, but it's what was going through my mind at the time.
Okay.
Her blood rushes through her blood vessels at the same pace as thoughts wound in her head. A smile on the outside, but deep down she thinks she would be better off dead. Her emotions undergo an apocalypse, exploding and fading, one and the same but opposite. They say get better, not bitter, but we are what we possess inside. What she harbors is far from sweet. Poison. Slowly she dies. In the midst of a laughing spree, her memory practices betrayal, giving her vivid flashes of the trauma she's faced in denial. Questions of why me, and am I not worth much, left unanswered. Maybe it was my fault. Pain grows like cancer. I will never be enough because he took a part of me. I must look like trash. When he looked at me, what did he see? The pain of knowing that she will never get justice. Nobody will believe you because it was just us. You asked for it with that miniskirt. It wasn't so bad, at least you weren't hurt. So she dances in the rain each time she hears it pour. For 10 minutes each time, sometimes more. She dances in the rain so no one thinks she's weak. It's the best way to mask tears from running down her cheeks.
My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. I believe that because of your advocacy, we will definitely get justice for people who are having mental health issues. And congratulations again on all the achievements you have made. And we are supporting you, and we encourage you to keep going and never give up.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. It has been a discussion on mental health with my very special guest, Namatama Lubinda, coming all the way from Zambia. She has helped us, she has shared her life with us, and she has enlightened us. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. FCC, Fast Teachable, DVR Limited Company Limited, my proud sponsors. Thank you so much for being with me and for sponsoring me. Thank you to all those who contribute to H4P. We are 12 years old. We've been doing this job for the past 12 years. Thank you so much for your help. Those who contribute through the mobile money system, thank you so much. And I'm going to come your way again, same time, but remember, Disability is not inability. Take care of yourselves, and God richly bless you. Thank you very much.
To the best father ever, Bishop Dr. Charles C. Hackman. What a great wonder. We love you forever.